Ian's ear before we start. Let's go, Sticky.
Fuck off, my ear.
James held at IFL TV in association with Macklin's Gym Marbella. We're on the road today, chauffeur driven by none other than Ian Burbage, aka The Ear. What's happening, Ian?
All good, mate.
Good.
All good.
With me, I've got two-time British champion Lenny Dawes. How are you, Len?
Good, mate, yeah.
Good. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on. You're back in action on the 17th of December against Anthony Yidgit for the EBU title at Westcroft. Fantastic for you to get a shot and opportunity at that. Can you talk to me a little bit about this firstly?
Yeah, I'm all up with this, mate. As you say, Nieto, we had the rematch with Nieto. Fell through. Obviously, didn't fancy it. He let the title go.
So Hennessy won the purse bid for the rematch with Ruben Nieto.
Yeah. And obviously he's had other ideas. Didn't fancy it. So yeah, Yidgit's next in line. So yeah, let's see what he can do, and yeah, we'll get everything right.
Fans of British boxing probably know of Yidgit a little bit. Recently had a good win over quite avoided Philip Sutcliffe Jr. as well. So what do you sort of make of that? Did you watch that?
Oh yeah, I've seen a few fights of his on YouTube. We've looked at that one. Yeah, you know, he's talented, he's strong, and he's going to be up for it as well. So it's going to make an exciting fight.
What do you make of Yidgit as a fighter? I know he's quite a skilled boxer, and you said he's quite strong. He comes on and pushes the fight. But what else do you sort of made of him?
Well, I'm going to take him to deep water in this fight. He's never been. I don't know if he's done a 12 rounder yet, but you know, I'm going to push him, and he ain't going to like it in there. So that's what we're going to do on fight night. We're going to stick it on him and just see how he likes it, really. Yeah.
I want to take your mind back to the first time you fought Ruben Nieto at Westcroft. Big night for yourself. A lot of pressure, home crowd, and to say it was very intense in there, to say the least. How do you think you'll handle that pressure second time round then?
I think I'm going to be fine. You know, it's nice to have it on home sort of soil again and my backyard sort of thing. So yeah, it would have been nice if it was Nieto, but you know, that's happened now. So we've just got to look at this kid. He's in my way. We've got to get him out of the way, and then we can push on. But yeah, we're not looking ahead yet. I've got to be at my best, and I know I will. And yeah, go and pick this title up because it's overdue now.
Stage of your career where if you do win the EBU title, you're potentially 2 or 3 fights away from a world title. Obviously, the Rocco who you fought out in Italy and many people thought you beat had the title. He's then managed to get a shot at the super title with Ricky Barnes, so it really pushes you in the frame, doesn't it?
Well, again, when the Rocco had the European title, we had the rematch and he weren't having it. Same with Nieto now, so it's showing that they don't want to mix with me, you know. So you know, we've just got to beat this kid, and it can happen. We know it can happen.
Do you see this as last chance saloon in terms of you and the EBU title and getting your hands on that belt?
I suppose people do say that this is his 3rd attempt, but it should have been mine from the first one, really. You know what I mean? And it's just a circumstance we've been up against. It hasn't really been my fault, you know. So yeah, we've got to go and do everything we can to get it this time and make sure it's done properly. And I know I can.
Credit to Mick Hennessy for getting the fight. I know he's backed you not just now but throughout your whole career in terms of getting the purse bids and making it where he can that you haven't got to travel. Do you feel you need to sort of repay that faith that Mick's shown in you?
Well, yeah, Mick's pulled it off. Mick always pulls things off, and I'll take me out to him. You know, it was a lovely phone call I got from him to tell me that he's done it. So yeah, over the moon now, and yeah, it's time to pick it up and make it a good end to a good year, sort of thing.
Must be frustrating for you, the fact that you thought you were going to get the rematch with Nieto. Then there was talk of you being on the Fury Klitschko 2 undercard against sort of Nieto. That then, with the sort of uncertainty of what's been going on, not knowing a date, it must be hard for you to stay in the gym as well.
It's, you know, it's coming up a year now, isn't it? So he was really looking forward to rematch. Was in the gym, looking at him, training for him, and all of a sudden, everything's changed. So, but we've been in the gym, we've been training hard. Yeah, and everything's been spot on, so really looking forward to it.
Do you think Yidgit's a tougher fighter than sort of Nieto or even the Rocco?
He's at that level, but yeah, until you share a ring with him, it's hard to say that, isn't it? But yeah, we'll just wait and see on the night.
As well as Mick Hennessy's support, you've obviously recently had the support of KOVALEV as well. Very appreciative, and got to say I do
Yeah,
like.
no, they've
I'm
stayed
fond
by
of
me.
the old mineral water myself.
Yeah, no, they've stayed close by me and helped me out a big treat, take me out to them. You know, and it can only get bigger for them. So yeah, we're looking forward to do some things along the way in camp and that with them to help us out and give it back to them in that way. So yeah, it's all looking good. So really excited.
At this point, I'm going to bring in the ear, aka Ian Burbidge. How are you, Ian? You all right,
Good,
mate?
mate. Yeah, not bad.
Good,
Not
good.
bad.
Good. I appreciate you being patient and quiet for a minute. Then people might thought that we've got a taxi driver. Unfortunately, we haven't. We've got trainer Ian Burbidge. How are you, sir?
I'm good, mate. Can't complain.
Good.
Can't
How has
complain.
this camp been in terms of sort of Lenny's where he's at and reaching his peak levels?
Yeah, it's been all right. I mean, we've had to obviously sort of take time out because of the Nieto fight, and then it was going to be the Fury bill, etc. So we've had to muck about a little bit, but now we're sort of focused on Yigit, where we've put in a more consistent camp, I suppose, is probably the better way to phrase it. We've allowed it being more organised.
Sutcliffe Jr. put on a good fight against you. Did you watch that? And what, if so, what do you sort of take away from that, Ian?
I've watched a lot of Yigit, to be truthful. No, he's good. He's good. He's strong. He's tough. He's going to come forward. We've got to then work out the plan around that. But you know, listen, you don't become an Olympian and unbeaten fighter like he is if you're rubbish, do you? So you know, we're going to respect him and respect his ability, but we'll be more than prepared.
How do you think he'll handle the hotbed that he's got short? And it's certainly can make it hostile for an away fighter coming in.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, it's probably one of the best, probably the best atmosphere I had. I mean, previously, I think the best atmosphere I had was Chaz Simmons against Gavin Tate, and that was like a cauldron. But
that was a good. I was there that night.
mate,
that was actually a good.
that was something else. And last year at the Westcroft, that really did. That was jumping. So yeah, it was a massive atmosphere. And listen, it's more awkward, I suppose, if you're the away fighter, but it'll spur Lenny on, I'm sure. So we'll be good.
Natural progression for Lenny to get his hands on this belt. Maybe in your eyes would have liked it maybe a year earlier, at the first time of facing Nieto. But do you think he deserves to win this belt and move forward for such a good servant he's been to boxing?
Well, I think so. I mean, I do think so. Yes, obviously. You know, he's one you don't hear about, Lenny, and then all of a sudden he pops up again, doesn't he? If you don't know him. Yeah, I think if anyone deserves it, I mean, he's a proper professional. I've always said that. You know, always in the gym. And what can you say? You know, it's easy to sort of say, you know, he deserves it and he deserves this, but there's loads of fighters out there that deserve stuff. But yes, obviously, I'd be more than delighted for him to get it. More than delighted.
How confident are you on the 17th of December at Westcroft that Lenny Dawes will be the new EBU champion?
I'm always confident. Without that going into arrogance, and I certainly wouldn't want it to come across that way. No, I am confident for him. Very much so. Very much so.
I want to talk a little bit about one of your other fighters as well who's gone under the radar, none other than Tony Milch.
Yes.
The Milch man moving to 11-0 as well.
I know. 12.
Sorry, 12-0. Writ off a
Don't take
night's
one
work.
off him.
Writ off a night's work for the Milch man. He won't be happy. How are you finding working with him? Because I've said you've done a cracking job at getting him to this point.
Tony's great. He's really good. He's a lovely attitude. Really nice boy. The only thing he needs is a bit of confidence in himself. If he gets that and realises how good he can be, he can certainly do very well indeed. But no, he's a pleasure to train, Tony. An absolute pleasure, and he just needs to be more confident in himself. And I hope that sort of picking up the title he picked up, the sort of like international challenge belt he picked up, and plus sort of knocking his first fella out. I know he stopped Gareth Shove prior to this, and he stopped a foreign guy. Forgive me for not remembering his name on a cut. But this was the first sort of real proper good stoppage that I was really impressed with. You know, with Gareth Shove, with all due respect to Gareth, Tony was bigger than him, but this boy was his weight, coming off a winning record. You know, the fella was 6-2, so he was no idiot, and Tony really outboxed him and as I say, stopped him in the fourth, which I was really pleased with for Tony, to be truthful. So you might finally believe what I'm telling him.
Fair play. Any chance of getting the Milch on the Lenny Dawes undercard? We've seen a few fighters announced, a few fighters on that undercard. Any chance of getting the Milchman involved?
No, to be honest. I think Tony needs a bit of a rest now. He's had a busy, although he didn't do much early part of the year, he's had a busy time from really, he was in the gym from sort of like March to prepare for a July fight, or the end of May, I think. No, it was July, then he had the title fight in August, then he's had this one. So he's had 3 in a short space of time. So really, I'm looking for Tony to be end of January, February next year, realistically.
So just give us a little rundown on potentially who we can see on the undercard. Is it pens in? Is there any names you can tell us about? What's going on?
At the moment, it's all pencil. We've had sort of 2 on that are forced to drop out.
That's Chesney Hawkins, I've heard.
He's done his fun, bless him.
Yeah.
Then we're still waiting on a couple of names coming back. It'd be unfair of me to sort of start saying, right, we've definitely got him, because it's all got to be confirmed with Mick.
Yeah.
We've put forward a list of names, and we're just waiting on Mick's approval.
Craig J. White up in the mix?
He's there for sure, and we're looking at more local boys if possible.
Oh, that's good.
We've got a few names in the frame, and it's just really, it'd be unfair of me to turn around and go, right, we can have that.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's got to wait on Mick's approval,
Yeah.
and obviously the boys who are concerned, it's their trainers. We're in talks with them. Sounds all big time, that, doesn't it? We're in talks.
You're in talks,
yeah. But we're talking, and fingers crossed it all comes off, and we get all the boys on there that we want.
Preliminary discussions are underway.
Yes. Yes, well put.
Alright, before we go, let's talk about what's going on this weekend. George Groves in action against Edward Goodnecht. Not many people know too much about Edward Goodnecht. Firstly, what do you guys know about him? I'll start with you, Lenny, because you're a bit quiet in the back there, mate.
Yeah, no,
What do you know about Groves' opponent?
Never heard of him. Never heard of him. So it's an unknown opponent to me, but some people may have heard of him. So I'm sure he's tough, he's durable. But yeah, as it goes into later rounds, we'll see how tough he will be, you know. So it should make an interesting fight.
Nowhere near as well known as Groves' last opponent in Martin Murray, but maybe dangerous. He's held European titles at light heavyweight as Goodnecht, so
right, yeah.
You don't know what to expect from him, really.
Yeah. So no, it should be an interesting fight, you know, if it lasts. But
one, you'll be expecting Groves to win comfortably.
Yeah, I'd say, you know, he needs to win, doesn't he? So, and then he's looking big again, isn't he? So, you know, every fight you need to win in this game, and you know, yeah, he's going to be really gunning for it, isn't he? So he wants to move on to big things, doesn't he? So yeah, I'm sure he'll get the result.
Your thoughts on Groves Goodnecht, Ian?
You've got to fancy Groves. I mean, I'd say the fella's obviously going to be tough, and being a light heavy, is he going to be able to come down and perform at the weight? Is he going to be as strong as normal? But Groves is on a mission, isn't he, now? Since he's sort of had the challenge to Badu Jack, I think he's realised where he went wrong, and obviously he's gone with Shane, and so, you know, he's looked good in the last few, and he's bossed it with his jab and boxing more, so you've got to fancy Groves, haven't you?
I think Groves was wrong to attach blame to Paddy Fitzpatrick for the defeat to Badu Jack. As a trainer,
it all depends. It's very difficult from the outside to say, because you know, you've got to have that relationship, and if George Groves didn't feel comfortable and confident within that relationship, then it's always going to be difficult. I don't know Paddy Fitzpatrick, and I don't know how he works, so it's very difficult to comment on their training style. Plus, it's not my place to, because people might look at what I do and think, what's he doing that for? But it's the relationship you have. You have to have that relationship between fighter and trainer, and if the relationship wasn't right, then it might have affected George that much that he couldn't fight that much. But that's really, I think George is the only one that can answer that.
Let's talk Andre Ward v Sergei Kovalev, one of the most anticipated matchups of 2016. Everybody's hoping it delivers. Firstly, what are your thoughts on it, Ian?
I fancy Ward, to be honest, because although looking at the size that Kovalev's a proper light heavy, I just think Ward is very, very slick. I think Kovalev's better than he's given credit for boxing wise, but I just think Ward will be quite slick. I mean, if Ward can handle someone like Froch, who possibly is similar to Kovalev in some ways, as very much a tough guy coming forward, I think Ward could manipulate it so that he nicks a points decision.
Just thinking that Nathan Cleverly's lost to Kovalev's looking better and better each day, isn't it? Because turns out Kovalev is the real deal.
Oh no, without a doubt. But then again, you don't get the world level and fight at that level if you ain't.
Your thoughts on Ward Kovalev, Lenny? How
It's
do
going
you
to be
see it
exciting.
going?
Someone's always got to go in it. So
You've been saving that one up, haven't you?
It's, you know, he's got power in it, and it can only take one shot, and it changes a lot. But Ward, you know, he's probably going to have to take a few big uns, and it's just seeing how he reacts to it. But I'm sure he can just pull out the way of times and ride them a little bit better and nick it on points. I think, yeah.
He's so hard to sort of lay a clean glove on, isn't he?
He's
From watching
very
him.
clever, yeah.
Very clever. Is there anything that you sort of take away from Ward that you try yourself?
Well, you look at these different styles, and yeah, you can't try and copy them, as you say, but you try and nick little bits if you can, but it's hard to copy them because that's their style, isn't it? You know, everyone's got their own style.
Yeah.
Yeah, even in the shadow, you might try and do a little move or something you've seen, but yeah, you have to try these things out to see how it feels.
Do you think their style goes against the basis you're taught as a boxer here, sort of early on, the European level? Keep your hands up, high guard.
Well, it's always been just textbook stuff, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or upright, bum bum. You know what I mean? And times have changed now. You just fight how you're natural and how you're suited, innit? Really, it's, you know, the way the Naz used to fight.
Yeah.
You know, punching off the floor at times. You know, you'd never do that.
Yeah.
People would laugh at you, but he was banging people out,
Jumping
in, yeah, you know what I mean, flying uppercuts. People never used to do that. He used to look like Superman jumping in, you know.
Yeah.
But if that's what you do and it works, you do it, didn't you? So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting fight. But yeah, he could sort of mess him about, Ward, tie him up just to weather the storm a little bit. But that's what you've got to do at times. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a good one to watch, and I'm sure everyone's going to be on this one because both unbeaten fighters, you know, top of the tree in it. So who's the daddy? We'll have to wait and see.
Credit to them for making the fight. We've seen so many excuses why
they normally
elite
stay
versus
apart.
elite can't happen. You know what I mean?
They are the top one, so it has to happen, and they've both done it. So it's very good that it's coming off. Really, yeah.
Do you think Canelo and Golovkin should take note and take heed of what Sergey Kovalev and Andre Ward have done in terms of making the fight?
Well, they're the sort of fights people want to see, but then I know it's down to the team, to fighters, what they've got planned. So yeah, you know, I think they'll have a little look and think about it. You know, calling out these big fights, but obviously, you know, promoters and all that, it can all get in between. There's some big fights never happen, as you know, James. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Any interest in your old stablemate Carl Froch facing Golovkin? Do you think do you think he'll come out of retirement to face GGG?
I've seen a little bit on Twitter and here and there all the time, but yeah, you know, I can't see Carl coming back now. He's had too long out, innit? You know, so. Do
you think that the nose, getting the fact that he's got that fixed, is rules out all sort of?
Well, yeah, he's had that done. You know what I mean? He's going to get smashed, innit, or whatever, and he ain't going to want that, is he? So he ain't going to get back in there, is he?
No.
You know, he's always going to be in the back of his mind. He can beat this kid. Yeah, of course it is. But yeah, it'd be silly if he does come back. But money talks. You never know. But I can't see it happening, mate. No.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen. I wish you the best of luck on the 17th.
Thank you, James.
It's good to spend a bit of time here and get you on the channel. It makes it different to do a different sort of video rather than being in Ian's gym of pain 24/7. You know what I mean? Anything you want to add, Ian, before we go?
No, I'm all good, thank you, mate. No, we're all good. Thank you very much.
Glad your nephew David Price is doing well as well.
Always.
Look forward to catching you soon. Cheers, mate.
Ciao, mate.
Cheers, mate.